Thank you all for being here today. We are here in McAllen. We've just gathered together after visiting 130 cities in the United States and in southern Canada, collecting humanitarian aid, collecting the good wishes and goodwill of people all around the United States who want to see the mean-spirited U.S. economic blockade of Cuba come to an end. This is a foreign policy that's been in existence for 50 years, and it doesn't make a single bit of sense. It is immoral, it is illegal, it punishes our neighbors who mean us no harm. We're going to break the blockade, and we're going to make sure that all of this aid gets to be with our brothers and sisters in Cuba.
I sit on the community board in my area and witness in my neighborhood rampant unemployment, hunger, homelessness, poor schooling, lack of adequate health care, and lack of clean air to breathe. I am traveling on this Pastor for Peace caravan to Cuba because Cuba offers hope for the world, where there is no hunger, no homelessness, where all are guaranteed free education and health care.
As you know, the Cuban Five, well, maybe you don't know because half of America doesn't know about the Cuban Five. They've been in prison for 13 years now, 1998. They went through unbearable conditions when they were first arrested. They were not told what they were being charged with. But the American people have to know the injustices that have been impounded on the Cuban Five. They are not guilty, they were not terrorists, and they were trying to let the government know about the terrorism that was being performed from the United States, emanating from the United States.
When I heard about the Latin American School of Medicine, I was amazed that Cuba, a country with such little resources, is offering a 6-year full scholarship of medical education to any American, or for that matter, Latin American, or any student who's eager to learn from around the world to come and join them.
I decided that because I had been able to see Cuba for myself, that I'd like to go and travel on the Pastors for Peace caravan to Cuba and support those that are fighting against this blockade.
I love our theme, love is our license. That's a very profoundly biblical theme. In my first trip to Cuba, I know one of the things happened where many myths that I had been fed throughout the years were kind of just blown up. And one of those is about the church. People have asked me, is there a church in Cuba? And I said, not only is there a church in Cuba, there's a growing community of faith in Cuba, an active community of faith in Cuba.
I also had the honor of working side by side with Lucius for 15 years and co-led the delegation that traveled to Nicaragua in 1988 that was attacked by U.S. Contra forces that led to the formation of the Pastors for Peace program. And I am pleased to be here not only as his daughter, not only as a staff member who was here when the Pastors for Peace project was born, but more importantly, as a representative of the U.S. population and the international community that is saying no to this policy.
We had hoped that President Obama would have broken the blockade with an executive order, but he's still talking that talk and suggesting that we need to export American democracy to Cuba. That's the worst thing that could ever happen. Cuba already has free health care. In the United States, many of our people don't have health insurance and don't have health care because in America, health care is a business. But in Cuba, it's a human right. In Cuba, they have free education because they believe in the development of the human potential. In the United States, education is a business, and only the most affluent in America get the best education. So we don't need to export democracy to Cuba. We need regime change right here in the United States. And that regime change ought to start with the lifting of the blockade.
No, Cuba sin bloqueo, no. Cuba sin bloqueo, no.